everybody. Hello, everybody, and
Everybody.
welcome back, Uncommon Thread family. We are so excited that you're joining us again for our fifth episode, uh, number five.
We did it. High five.
Absolutely. Destiny, how are you?
I am good. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Uncommon Thread family. I am so blessed and so excited to be on the other side of
Man,
2024 and kicking things off with you. I am so amazing. How are you doing?
I am blessed. I just the new year rolled around and it just feeling just so blessed and just thankful. Just thankful for all the things that God did in 2024 and just what we know he's working on for 2025.
Yes.
25. We're talking about the fruits of the spirit. We're continuing. This is probably going to end up being a three-parter. And so uncommon fruit. And
Yes.
we're just looking forward to breaking this down and getting into the fruit of the spirit. It's such a powerful thing that as Christians and believers, that we should be practicing every day.
So
And
good. Yes.
and maybe you haven't ever heard of this. So that's what we want to help you with, is kind of just talk about some of this tonight. So, Destiny, what do you got? We're gonna get into the next three and just gonna break them down. Pardon my voice.
Yes. No, no worries. I mean, 'tis the season, right? Like it's sinuses, cold flu, all that good stuff. So for this episode, I want to quickly kind of recap what we did with Uncommon Fruits Parts 1. So with
Yeah,
that, we did love, joy, and peace for the
yeah.
first fruits of the spirit. And so we just want to keep rocking. We are now doing part 2 of this. We want to kick things off with patience, kindness, and goodness. So let's kind of talk a little bit about
So
with
good.
each episode. We talk a little about what is a proper definition or what are we really talking
Yeah.
about. And so I want to go through the definition of each, kind of as we go through them, but kind of just quickly. Patience is enduring challenging situations without becoming frustrated.
Oh,
Man, I mean, that was 2024 in a nutshell.
the
If you
definition of right
the
there.
definition of they're like explain 2024 for me. Oh, it's hold on, wait. It's enduring challenging situations without becoming frustrated. That was it. I didn't know that was me just being patient. Um, but then we had kindness, performing acts of generosity and consideration for others. And then last but not least is goodness,
Mm,
choosing to do what is morally right.
mm.
So, whew, that is something we can definitely hop into. So let's kick things off with patience. Like I said, that was probably the definition of 2024. Being patient, enduring challenging situations without becoming frustrated. I will tell you that is probably oof. I have been called a patient person, like most my friends and family probably say I am naturally a patient person. And so I think overall, yes, right. But I will tell you, as you grow, right, in our spiritual walk, the tests and the trials and the things will push you in a place to where you have to dig deep, like whatever your norm
Mm.
is doesn't matter in some of these storms. It really doesn't. And that is where that fruit of patience comes in, where you have to go and find God and go and find your prayer closet, go and take that
Mm.
moment to yourself to say, God, this is bigger than me, right? This is a challenge, and I can't physically outwardly show in this moment to this person, to the situation, that I'm frustrated. I'm called to go higher and to be greater.
Mm.
And so, in order for me to do that, I have to calmly sit in this moment and work through it with you, because the flesh and part of me, right, wants to just not, not be patient,
Yeah,
not
right.
be calm. Um, and the world will say, you didn't have to be, right? The world would totally
Right.
justify us lashing out
Right.
at the boss who was mean to us,
Yeah.
lashing out at the coworker who we know was going behind our back and talking behind, talking about behind our back, the best friend who stabs in the back, right? The world would totally get that.
Mm.
Um, but we're called to be patient. We're called to stay calm, even though we're beyond frustrated. So, Thom, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
As you were talking, I started thinking about, the time the times that we live in, everything is so immediate,
Ooh,
right? Before we got on, Destiny and I were talking about Amazon. We'd ordered some stuff, and it's in, used to people would say, that like a microwave generation or a microwave
yeah,
mentality or whatever, but
ooh,
now it's moved it to a different level. It's almost like an Amazon mentality, right?
yeah,
You can literally order something, and in some instances, depending on the product that you order, it can be here tonight. It
yeah,
will deliver overnight, 2
yeah,
3 a.m. Your Ring doorbell captures this poor
yeah,
Amazon person, running up to your door at 3 in the morning to
yeah,
deliver your package. And that is, I think, we get into that mentality of needing it right now.
yeah.
Okay, God, I prayed about it, and
Mm,
now where is it? I
hmm.
ordered it. Where's the tracking number?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and
ooh,
that's kind of what I was thinking about. And so being patient, I know that it says enduring challenging situations without being frustrated. But
yeah,
to me, 2024 was about praying about some specific situations
yeah.
that I prayed every which way I could pray about it.
Mm,
And and when you the only thing now, God definitely downloaded a lot of things, thankfully, but the recurring thing that he said to me was wait.
yeah, oof,
Wait.
yeah,
It wasn't no, it wasn't yes, it
right.
was wait.
Just wait.
And that is patience, because when you ask God to grow, God allow the fruit of the spirit to grow in my life.
Yeah,
Patience is one of those, it's one of the fruit.
it's one.
He
Yeah,
literally was growing that in my life by telling me to wait.
yeah,
And it was frustrating sometimes. There were times where I would get in here and pray, and I was so frustrated because I was like, God, can't you see what I'm
right.
going through?
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
and, and it's like, but wait, God sees what we don't see, right? He
yeah.
can see down the road. And
Mm,
so in I feel like this goes back to maturity,
yeah, it does. Totally does.
because I don't need what Amazon can get to my door tonight or tomorrow, or you know, God forbid that we have to wait a couple of days, for it
Right.
to come. But uh, there are some things that challenge us
Yeah,
to be patient when God says wait, because He knows what He has for us, but we're not ready for it. So God help, I learned to pray. Don't help me not to keep saying, why is this happening to me?
yeah,
And so I would try to pray, show me what you're trying to teach me through this,
yes.
which was
Ooh,
patience.
so good.
It was patience. And
So,
man, y'all, that's a hard one. It's
yeah,
hard to be patient when you're in a tough situation that you want it to end right now.
yeah.
This hurts. Ow, God, ow.
Right. It's yeah, it's extremely painful. It's extremely painful. And I was told that it was, I don't even remember exactly when it was. We'll just say March, right? May, well, who knows? But I was told in May of like 2022 that something would happen in September. Like I felt that in my spirit, and he's like September. So I was like, great. I was like, I started doing everything I could to make sure this thing happened in September. Well, lo and behold,
Come on
nothing
and talk
happened in
about it.
September.
Man,
And so I'm like, well, what? Well, what was that? so I kept going, right? And then Thom and I were having a discussion last year, and I was like, you know what's so funny? I was like, God told me to wait for September. And I was like, but it's been a while. Like, and now I'm talking, and now
Yeah.
almost 2 years. And I'll be darned if everything that was supposed to happen, right, happened not only for me, but for Thom
Yep.
and for other people in our circles.
Yeah.
And it was like, got it. And that's that patience. That's that. And not me stopping doing it in my own right, because that's the frustrating part,
Yeah.
is like, you know, something's supposed to happen. You're praying for something specifically, and God's telling you this is going to happen. And but it's that waiting, it's that trusting, it's that patience, it's that, and I need you to go through some trials while you're waiting and trusting and all those things, that build that fruit of the spirit. And so I just think, it it's probably one of the most impactful ones, you know, of all of them. They're all
Yeah.
great in their own right, but patience, if you can grasp that, and waiting for God to move in your life the way He wants to move in your life, and not trying to push forward and past His timeline, it's going to serve you more, more than you could ever imagine, more than you ever hope or think. It
Yeah.
serves
Because
you.
frustration will
Yeah.
make you act
Oh yes.
in a way
Yeah.
that it's out of character, or
Yes.
and that's what I love is there's a saying that I
Yes.
saw that says nothing that is for me will
Mm,
require me to act out of my character.
so good. Ooh,
Nothing.
so good.
So if I get frustrated, it's going to
Yeah.
cause me to make decisions quickly, right?
Yes.
Like at the
Yes.
spur of the moment because of how it makes me feel,
Yes.
right?
Mm, yes.
It will make me feel better if I can quit this job, or
Mm, mm-hmm,
leave this
mm-hmm.
marriage, or whatever it is.
Sure. Yes.
Man,
Yes. But there's no, but again, there's nothing in your feelings that
right,
you like. There's nothing, like, we can feel however we want, but it's God's will that has to be done at the end of the day.
right,
And so, and ultimately what you'll find out is, if you keep jumping ahead of him, you're just going to stay in your storm longer. And
right.
right. And so that, I mean, that's a whole nother thing, but like, but you'll just stay where you are longer, and he's gonna be like, okay, and until you start asking those questions, what do you want me to learn here? What am I supposed to be doing here? That's key. That's so crucial.
And I feel so strongly about just sharing that, y'all, sometimes it felt like it was soul crushing. That's how it felt sometimes, where situations that I would pray for wouldn't happen, right? Like God, I need somebody to join my team. I need the right person. Help the right person, and this was a work situation. Help the right person, you know, come here. It, I would have people that would accept the position, decide they were coming, literally cancel the day before they were supposed to start.
Ugh.
So you already have a couple of weeks into it,
Right.
right?
Right.
Hey, you're back and forth. You've made you've gone through the all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Desperately need the help.
Yes.
Already in a frustrated situation.
Yes.
Then this person backs out at the last minute. It's so that feeling of just being crushed.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
but
Disappointment.
that is that process, right? Is the process of growing your patience requires a crushing, and that's the thing that people don't want to go through. It hurts. It's hard to be crushed,
It's hard.
but the oil that is produced from it
Ooh. Yeah. Yeah.
now
Yeah.
is I can understand it now.
Yeah.
Then I didn't.
Yeah.
Then I just felt the crushing, and that's the only word that I could come up with to
Yeah.
to, to describe those feelings of it. It literally just felt like
Yeah.
physically being crushed. That is growing patience in your life.
Yes.
And we don't want that. We do, it's hard. It's hard because we
Yes,
go through the hard stuff.
yes.
And
And it's
right. And
easy
we
to
know that we have more to come.
yes, and it's easy, like I said, the easy route is to quit.
Oh
Right?
gosh.
That's the easy route. The easy route is to just walk away, to say you're done, to turn the other eye, like turn away and from it. And I think at the end of the day, we just, to become a diamond, you have to go through that pressure, right? Like I think if you're looking to get on the other side of what God has for you, you're going to have to endure some things that people around you don't understand it, and you're going to hear that. Like I don't know how you're able to deal with X, Y, and Z,
Yeah.
and the way you're dealing with it. Like it's taking me out hearing you tell a story. And so, but that
Yeah.
is patience. That is truly, once you get to a place where you're like, God, I'm I can't do this. This is not for me. And you say, I'm giving this to you. I maintain that calmness, right? That's that in that challenge situation, and giving it to you. And I think that's the beauty of it. It really, really is.
Yeah. Yeah. So good.
Yes.
So good. Because I mean, again, we get in these situations as we grow as Christians and we grow and become a little more mature, right? That's what we should be doing, is
Yeah.
becoming more mature, getting
Yeah.
closer to him so that you can hear his whisper to say, wait,
Yeah.
understand, as bad as it hurts, there is a purpose for it.
Yeah.
And so it it's those times where uh we of course we have free will, but
Yes. Yeah.
it get you just get in those times with God that there's no going back.
No.
You
Right.
can't stop. You can't
No.
throw in the towel. You
Right.
literally just have to,
Yeah.
physically I've never given birth to a child. I've
Yes.
seen it. I've
Yeah.
seen it happen. But that's what it kind of feels like from a man's perspective of literally going through labor pains. There's no you pass the point of no return. It's
Right.
happening.
Right.
This
Right.
baby's
You're
coming
not.
out one way or the other.
Right. So true. So, but you're right. I mean, it's literally like, okay, this is it. Like it's now or never. And so, but again, you have that free will. Like,
Yeah,
and I think that just accepting it. I think patience is acceptance at the end of the day. Like it's the same thing. Like it's just knowing this is what we're gonna have to walk through, know we're gonna be uncomfortable, and maybe you don't even realize it in real time. I was talking with Thom about this earlier. There's so much of the crushing and the trial and the tribulation that I didn't even know was a crushing trial or tribulation until months later. And I look back on it and I was like, whoa, right? Because they're always like, I was telling him, it's the
yeah,
rainbow after the storm, right? And so I see the rainbow now, but oh, that's because that was the storm. And so the patience piece comes with that's going to come, right? The rain will stop, the rainbow will come. It's just how are you acting in the storm, right? How
yeah.
are you walking through that storm? How are you going
And,
through?
and the first word is enduring,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Enduring challenging situations.
Yeah.
That's the word, is
Yeah.
enduring.
Woo. Yeah.
It is going through.
It's going through.
It
Yeah.
it's
Not
it's
running.
whatever
Yeah.
this process, trust the process. We've heard that till sick of
Yeah.
hearing it, right? But it keeps coming back. It's
Yeah.
irrelevant in every situation. Enduring.
Enduring. Yeah.
If you want to get there, you have to endure this here.
Yes. Ooh. Yeah. So good. I mean, and that's just it. And that is just
Mhm.
it. And patience, like I said, it's so prominent in Christianity. Like being patient and it's hard. I would say, like I said, of all the fruits, it's one of the ones where, you know, if you can grasp that one, it's a huge one. It's a huge
Yeah.
one.
And something we deal with every day, right, Destiny? We
Every
have to endure it every single day. It's not a one and done type
no,
of thing. That's
no,
why if you're a new Christian, or maybe you're still
Yeah,
just kind of feeling this out,
yeah,
God gives us his love. He gives us people. Destiny and I were just bragging about how God was so good that brought us together.
yeah,
And that's why your circle is so important, is to, but you're new to this. It's this is what makes this doable,
yeah, yeah,
is is just knowing that God loves us enough to help us endure the things that we have to endure to
yeah,
grow and be better, and do do something that you could have never seen yourself doing.
yeah,
That is literally what you are experiencing, right?
yeah.
We are
It's
doing something that we would have never thought that we
never in a million years.
could have, would have.
No,
Oh, that might sound like a good idea.
yeah,
That's why we can talk to y'all about this, is because we are
yes,
we're
so
we're
true.
here, and we know this is only the tip of the iceberg. That's what gets us fired up, to
Yes,
know we can endure the next thing.
yeah,
We're not perfect.
yeah,
you know
no,
Sometimes, listen, I've stood right in this room sometimes and just thrown a little fit,
yeah, yeah.
literally. you know
And,
like,
right, and probably, and right, in the world we say rightfully so, right?
yeah,
And that's okay, because at the end of the day, he knows our heart, and I
yes,
think
right, so
that's the
good.
thing. That's the thing. And like, we're to Tom's point about not being perfect. We just, right, we're not supposed to be. We're not Jesus. We're not going to be perfect. But we are his disciples. And so we're called to be as Christ-like as we can, because we're following him. And so I think that's the beauty of this. And I guess the patience is one we can stand for. We'll probably do some uncommon patience maybe down the road.
Oh,
But
yeah.
let's talk about kindness. So that performing acts of generosity and consideration for others. Goodness, kindness is one of those that I think again comes naturally for Tom and I would say it's one of those
Yeah,
things,
yeah,
if you ask somebody about us, they would say we're kind.
sure.
Um, but that performing acts of generosity and consideration for others is something that I know is not common for everyone. And so just like we talk about all the other fruits of spirit before, this is something that is daily work. It's going to be those things. If this is not something that comes naturally for you, then it's praying to God, asking God, okay, God, how can you, God, soften my heart to be more kind to someone? God, what can I do to be more generous? What can I do to be more considerate? Um, and sometimes we have roadblocks for certain people. Like we can be totally kind to our coworkers and come home and bite our spouse's head off, or vice versa.
Yeah,
We can totally be one way at work and come home. And so, or at church, or right. I mean, we can wear many masks sometimes. And so it's just, God, how can I be who you need me to be in all situations at all times, right? How can I be kind, no matter to whom and to what, and show me why, if I'm being unkind to someone, show me why that is, and
mm,
help me realize how can I become more considerate and generous towards that person.
so good. And Destiny, going back to what you had said, I think last week, or one time when we were together, but uh, Destiny and I are both nurses,
Yeah.
and so we encounter people, patients.
Yeah.
We used to, when we were more bedside or more patient direct.
Yes.
You know, but I just want to use this as an example. Um, Doing hospital nursing is different. I have some hospice experience, home health experience. And so a lot of times we meet people, or we encounter people, our first interaction with them, they are in physical pain.
Yeah. Yes. So
And
true.
so our first interaction with them might not be a good one.
Right. Yeah.
It may be because they're hurting, they're physically in
Yes.
pain.
Yeah.
And so uh because then the next time you see them, their pain is under control. They're a whole different person.
Yes.
And it's not that they aren't kind.
Yeah.
It's just
Mm.
that they were in a situation where they were hurting. They
Yeah.
were actually in pain. We meet people all the time that are going through situations and they are in pain. And
Yeah.
so being kind is is something that isn't always easy to do,
No.
and I feel like that's what this is about is when the fruit of kindness is growing in our life,
Yes.
it is when we can exercise it to people that are hateful, nasty. you know
Yes.
Now listen, we got to
Yes.
use our discernment, right? We can't
Right.
be a doormat. You can't just let people walk all over you.
Yes.
There are limits,
Right.
where you've got to finally say, okay, this is we got to be done. But
Right.
acts of kindness to people, because we are Jesus with skin on,
Yeah.
right? We are, he lives in us. And so I feel like that's what he wants us to do. Again, I'm not perfect, but
Right.
it is something that I try to, think about and say, you know, this person, it's almost like it becomes a challenge. It's like, okay,
Mhm.
how can I get to
Yeah.
this person and help them to see that there are people that are kind,
Yeah. Yes.
that are genuinely doing this just to be kind.
Yes. Yeah. And I think what you said made me think about like we're just in a broken, fallen world. That's
Right.
just what we're in.
Yeah.
And so meeting people who are hurting, and it may not be Thom brought up a great point about meeting someone bedside, but there are people who are just broken and hurting, and they're your neighbor, they're your coworker, they're your boss, right? They're probably sitting next to you in church, right? There are people who are broken and hurting all around us, and so they may be kind people, but in that season that they're in, they're really going through something that has them in a place. And so they may not have opened the door for you and but coming behind you in church. They may not have said anything to you coming in the work that day. They may not have, let you in traffic. But that's because they're dealing with something and in a hurting, broken state that all you're going to do is just be kind, right? They didn't let you over in traffic, but down the road, when you have the opportunity to let them over, you do it, right?
Right.
We can't be like this world, even though we're in this world, because we're not really of this world, right?
Right.
Because we're called to be higher than this world. So I
And
think
I think
it's
and
so
I think
important.
acts of kindness too sometimes
Yes,
is sometimes being able to do something for someone that
yeah,
has no way of repaying
beautiful. Yeah,
you.
none. Yeah,
It's not a debt
it's not
that
that.
you owe me. I'm kind to you, so you
Yeah.
have to be kind to me. There are some
Mhm.
situations where, just what you said, I love that, because there may be uh you never see the end result of your kindness to someone.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. It's like, what we had at the church, we had where you could take, a child off the angel tree and you can go get them a gift. You don't know who that child is. They'll never know who you are, but you may have changed something. Your kindness, that generosity may have changed. It planted a seed that may have been the only Christmas gift they got. That may
Yeah.
have been the only Christmas gift they'll ever get. You never know what that does for someone down the road. And so I think kindness is such a beautiful thing because to Thom's point, it's not about getting it in return. It's far reaching. It
Mm,
surpasses all the understanding to be kind to someone who's not kind to you. It's just, and you're not better than anyone, right? You're just trying to better than
yeah.
their emotion,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because
So,
that's how it is.
and as you were talking, it made me think of a certain situation where I feel like it was an act of kindness. It was a friend of mine. I was having a particularly hard day, and this is, I feel like, how God works.
Mm,
He's telling me to wait, right?
mhm.
He knows, he sees,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
saw that I was having a hard day, y'all. This was one of those days where I just felt that pressure, right?
Mm,
And just, you know, I, I even cried that day. Like I remember exactly where I was in this exact moment.
Yeah.
And this person called just randomly. It seemed like it was random. He
Mm,
just called just to check in. Hey friend, I
yeah.
was just thinking about you. How you doing? Never thinking, that I was about to sob and say, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for just," she was like, "Oh my gosh, I was
Right.
like, "I'm just having a rough day. Thank you
Yeah.
for checking on me." That meant
Yes.
so much to me. But that I feel like was a return on my investment
Mm,
in somebody else when I thought about somebody else. I reached out to somebody else and said, "Hey, just letting you know I'm thinking about you, love you, da da da," whatever the
yeah.
situation might have been. That was my return
Yeah.
on that thing that I needed so desperately that day.
Yeah.
That just made me feel so much better that somebody just reached out.
Oh my goodness. That is so powerful. It is so powerful. And like you said, it is like a bank of sorts. And
Yeah,
so what you put into this, you will get back. And it's not, and that's not the intent. Like it's not the intent to, like Thom said, it's not the
right,
intent to go and do all this and out into the world so that you get it back. But God has his own record keeping. And so when you need it most, he is there and he'll whisper in someone's ear to call you, or he
yep,
will, and vice versa. Like that's where this discernment comes in too, is being able to hear, oh wait, I need to stop and call and check on my mom. I need to stop and
yeah,
call and check on my child. I need to stop and go. Like that is all part of this too. And I
yeah,
and I love that. I love that your friend reached out, and God is so
yeah,
good for that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Just again, it's just that little, you know, nugget, right?
Yeah.
I-
Yeah.
it just helped me. And that's been months ago,
Yeah.
y'all, months ago. And I still can
Yeah.
remember how that impacted my day that day.
Yeah.
That's how important
How important it is.
kindness
Yeah.
can be. Performing acts of generosity and consideration for others
Yeah.
can be a text, a phone call, a just send some little something, you know,
Yeah.
uh, just acknowledging, I think,
Yeah.
uh, something that they've done. Maybe you see something on Facebook
Yeah.
and you reach out, because to me, it's the ones that you don't really expect
Mm.
to do it, that when they do it, to me, I pay more attention when it's them. Not that it's not their nature, not that they're not a
Yes.
kind person,
Yes.
but
Right.
it's just
Right.
like, wow,
Yeah.
you you are paying attention to me.
Yeah.
People watch us.
They do.
Actions speak louder than words. And so these acts of generosity,
Yeah.
people see.
They
So
totally see.
yeah,
And I think it's brilliant that Facebook, right, shows that smiles commented too. Like even like I think it's this reoccurring, like I said, it's a bank. And so you're seeing the other deposits that have come in after yours. And so it's like, oh, I started maybe with your post about have a great day, everyone. That trickled down and it starts a wave. And it's just
yep,
like, oh, and all you were doing was just throwing it out there into the universe.
yeah,
But
yeah,
it's that simple. And I think kindness is so undervalued and under talked about, but it's probably the one thing that is one of the many things. But one of the things that if we don't realize how valuable please and thank you is, how valuable opening a door is, how valuable when someone sneezes saying God bless you, how valuable all these little things, little acts of kindness, the paying it forward. I remember when that was a big thing. Like you had the Starbucks line, that was a thing. Like we've had 100 cars now today because of paying it forward. You don't hear that anymore. Let's start that up again. Let's start that paying
yeah,
it acts of kindness thing in 2025. And so I just want to put that out there to the Uncommon Thread fam to just
yeah,
start a wave. Start it in your and just watch where it goes.
yeah. Just giving a stranger a compliment, you know,
Yes. Yes.
especially men. I think it's harder for men to give another man a compliment.
Yeah.
Man, your cologne smells nice. Doesn't
Yes.
mean you're making a pass or coming onto them or whatever, being
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
It's just acknowledging that. You know, men need that. I
They
think,
do. They do.
sometimes where not that women don't,
Yeah.
because we all need it. But
Correct. Yes.
there's been times again where I've had somebody say, you know, hey, you look good in that color, or
Yeah.
oh my God, I love your smile, or whatever
Yeah.
random thing it is. I may never ever see that person again, but I
Right.
remember that moment
Yeah.
that, hey, you look nice today,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes.
thanks.
And it's just that simple. Or like I said, letting
Yeah.
somebody over, if you're letting somebody out to merge in traffic, all those things are acts of kindness. But it's so true. And I think it's even more important to ask God about reminders to be kind to those closest to us. So I think those are kind of the more forgotten people. We
Yeah.
can really, because you get really comfortable with your spouse, you get really comfortable with your best friends, you get really comfortable with those around us every day. And you may forget to compliment as much to someone who you see every day. And so it's always just a good reminder to be like, God, remind me to say something and be kind and generous and considerate to those who I'm closest
Yeah.
with, along with those out in the world. So,
Oh, that's so good.
yeah,
That's huge. Absolutely.
huge. Well, excellent, excellent. Let's go on to goodness. So, choosing to do what is morally right. Oh man. I was watching a podcast the other day, actually also on YouTube, and they were talking about it was about dieting, and it was like, we typically know what healthy is. Like if you took a plate, it was like if you took a plate of like grilled chicken, broccoli, and salad, and you sat it next to a plate of cheeseburgers and French fries, and you said, "Hey, which one is healthy?" Most people would say, "Oh, well, yeah." Now, what would most people eat? Probably the cheeseburger and French fries, right? But it doesn't change that we knew which one is healthy. And I think goodness is the same thing. Like I think most of us know something is morally right. Like we can feel it, that if it's good or not. What we choose to do, though, sometimes may not always align, but it is a choice. Like it's saying, it's choosing to do what is morally right. And I think, we were talking today, even at church, about, if you became a millionaire, would you give, your tithe or your 10%? Like, would you pay your taxes properly? Like, those are all
Oh,
moral things, right?
yeah.
Paying
Yeah.
paying your taxes, right? Um, you know, paying your bills on time. All those things are all morally right things, not lying on, driver's license, I don't know. But like not lying, like doing things that are like so, and there's like little things that come up in life, but like the morally right ones, like um I think that that is what we're talking about here, is like those things that are like kind of hard fast rules that are like, hey, that's just not right. And so choosing to do those things is going to get you closer and closer to the relationship you want with God, to things God has for you, because that is showing God He can trust you, because
Mm,
He will give you $1,000 if you do what you're supposed to do with that. He'll give you $10,000, and then He'll give you $100,000, and He'll give you more.
yeah.
But you have to consistently consider and choosing the morally right things to do with that money. Just like He'll give you the 4-bedroom house, the
Mm,
mansion, the whatever. But in the apartment, are you keeping that clean? Right? Are
yeah.
you paying your rent on time?
Yeah.
Right? Those things, it's consistently doing what's morally right so that you can prove to God that you can trust me with more. I appreciate what you've done for me, and opening those doors and allowing Him to just move in ways in your life that you can't even imagine.
So good. And I almost feel like they left off a couple words. Choosing to do what is morally right when no one is watching.
Oof, that's it. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
do you do
Yeah.
when no one's watching? How do you talk? This can be
Yeah.
self talk. This is something I'm
Mm.
still learning. Self talk.
Amen.
Um, Choosing to do what is right doesn't necessarily mean, you know, but when you're by yourself,
Yeah.
those are those decisions, like you said, uh, uh, no one can force us to pay our tithes
Oh,
or pay our bills on time or whatever.
oh.
But those are those choices that we make
Yeah.
because that's what we believe.
Yeah.
But what do you do when you're by yourself?
Yeah. So
You know,
good.
Pastor Kim tells us, our pastor, Pastor Kim tells us all the time, if you have to hide it, it's a sin.
Yeah. Whew. Yeah. Yeah.
And there's so many bazillion things that can lump into that. But but goodness, goodness and mercy
Yes.
shall follow you all the days of your life, is what the Bible says.
Holidays. Yes.
Goodness gives us that thing in us to make right decisions even when we're by ourselves. Like Destiny, you mentioned being on a diet. It's the new year, new
Yeah.
year, new me.
That's
Everybody's going to join the gym, everybody's going to get fit,
yeah.
everybody's going to, get back on the wagon and whatever. But what are you doing when you're by yourself? Are you going to
Yeah.
inhale a Snickers and,
Right.
a milkshake
I have a
and
pack of Oreos. I
yeah,
might have
a whole pack of Oreos or whatever? Or are you going to keep to it? When
yeah.
when we say we're going to fast and pray,
Woo.
as
Yeah.
Christians, we
Yeah.
do those things.
Yeah.
We fast certain things. And when you fast something, it maybe it's not food, you
Sure.
know,
Right.
maybe it's not where you don't eat anything. Maybe it's soda or a TV show or
Yeah.
excuse
Social
me,
media. Yeah.
social media,
Yes.
whatever. Uh,
Yeah.
but there's nobody there strong arming you, right? To
Right. Right.
to like monitor you, you
Mm-mm.
know.
No.
Oh, look, Destiny said she was going to fast social media, and there she is posting five. She's posted
That's
five
right.
things today.
Right.
People don't necessarily know what you fast, and
Right.
it's not that it's their business, but
Yeah.
that is what I feel like goodness is,
Yes.
deciding that this is what you're going to do and do it even when no one else is watching.
Amen. I I could have said it better myself. I think that is because I again with the mask theory,
Yeah,
right?
so
You
good.
can't be so good in front of so many people. And then when you get home, that the what they say, kicking the dog, and you are you're just a
Yeah,
different person. And I think that the intent of the fruits of the spirit is that these are things that are a part of you all the time, every day, even if some days are harder than others. The intent is that you're aware, and that's what Thom and I are trying to do with the fruits of the spirit. Is I think just to bring, for those who are new in Christianity, or even if you've
yeah,
been, a Christian for a long time, a reminder that this is just a part of staying in the Word, knowing what's right, being fully accountable to yourself, because nobody is going to be with you at the gates when you go to heaven,
yep,
other than, and
yep,
so there's all people who were like, well, I told them I was fasting social media. Why didn't they stop me? I told them I was on a diet. Right. So no, it's
yeah,
it's you and God. When that day comes, it's you and God. And so you have to be accountable for yourself and your actions and morally right, because it's just going to be you answering for you one day.
right,
And
right,
there's nobody else, your pastor's not going to be there to account for the good you did in the church. Your friends aren't going to be
yeah,
there. And so this is a personal journey. The fruits of the spirit are personal, but they impact your world. But what you want to take away from this is, like, you want to know God for yourself. You want to know the fruits of the spirit for yourself. You want to know the armor of God. All the stuff we're talking to you about, I'm going to talk to you about. This is stuff you really want to personally find out and know for yourself. And then you can take it out into the world and impact the world, as God's called you to do. So,
absolutely.
but it's powerful. These things are very powerful things, and your world will change. It's a guarantee. If you become consistent with armoring of God, of the fruits of the
Yeah.
Spirit, of clothing yourself in the
Yeah.
most Christian way possible, your world will change. It's just, it's a guarantee. I'm
Yeah.
speaking from experience. Thom can speak from experience. Anyone who you know, like was watch their fruits, right? If you see someone who's changed, who
Yep.
has the life you want, right? Ask them, right? And they can tell you. And I think that's the other thing we haven't done a whole lot in our world today is we see
Mhm.
what people post on social media, right? And there's assumptions made, but sometimes you don't know what someone's gone through to get to there,
Come
right?
on, that's so
And
good.
so I think
Yeah.
this opens conversations, right? And so this is what
Yeah.
Thom and I are really wanting us to do. So we want to hear from you in the comments. We want to hear,
Yeah.
you know, where what fruits of the spirit were you most surprised to hear about? Which ones are you working on today?
Yeah.
Which ones do you share with others? And so we're just so excited to keep doing life with you. And so this is good. I love, you know, these fruits, and I think the last three are going to be just as impactful as the first three, and these three were today. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and reach out to us. We
yeah,
want that. We're just excited to be able to share this. Like Destiny said, it's these are those things that we're talking about, where no one forces us to be committed to doing this, right? These are the things that we have chosen to do,
yeah,
and but we're committed to each other. We're committed to God, first of all. He's the
yes,
one that told us. And so yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
yeah,
If this blessed you, then share this with somebody that you feel like might need it. Subscribe, like it, subscribe so that you know when the next one drops, and and let us hear from you, because we love doing this, and we love just being able to give some good you know content as we feel led to do that. So um, we're just excited to be able to be here, start this new year.
absolutely,
God has downloaded so much great things with us, to us, for us, and we're just excited to grow with you.
yes,
And if you're new, and you need, reach out to us.
yeah,
We have resources that we would love to share with you. And so, anyway, happy New Year again. We're so glad that you watched with us, and we hope that this blessed you.
yes, amen. Happy New Year, everyone. We are so excited to be here with you. And like Thom said, like, share, subscribe, and
Yeah.
also stay tuned. We're going to look for a spot on Spotify. And so when we go live with that, we're going to share that with you so you can listen to us on the go. And so we're excited about where God's taking us and all we're doing. And we want to take you on that journey with us. And so
Yeah,
we are just so excited to do life with you. And again, remember to do uncommon things for uncommon results. So
that's
we
right.
just love you, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.